Oh, this is your Wyndham Ras Sahar Tafari, reporting for Fruits of Divine Ministries of H.I.M. His Imperial Majesty, Kedamawi Hadi Shalasi Nugus Nugus Ethiopia, King of Kings. In the name of our Black Master and Savior, Getachim in the Hanatachim, Yeshua HaMoshiach. Amen. Another quick vid. This one's called because you see your boy Nick Cannon. We was all kind of glad that he kind of spoke up and did what he did. We understand that at that level, there's certain powers and principalities, what I'm saying, that some can't see. But at any rate, he went back and he apologized. I don't know why, but we don't really know why. But he went back and apologized, and he shouldn't have, because the truth is the truth. Just because they can't handle it, and the truth is an offense, but it's not a sin. It's not a hatiyah. You know what I'm saying? Because the truth hurts, especially if it's convicting you of something you into or something that you've done. So let's give the brother a little backup on this. While other people's, even us black and brown people are debating on it, like it don't matter the color and blah 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 blah. But besides all that, let's just get down to the root of it, to the truth. That way you won't have a whole bunch of things flying all over the place. So Nick Cannon said it's not possible for us as black and brown so-called African Americans to be anti-Semitic, because we are the Semitic people, which is a true statement. But a lot of ones, even some that agree with that, don't understand how we're Semitic. How do black people say that we're the true, paraphrasing, Jews, as it were, because we know that there's 12 tribes. So if there's Jews, then there's Reubenites, and there's Gadites, and there's Danites, and there's Levites. You see what I'm saying? So you can tell those fake ass, a Nazi, Jewish ones, they're even ignorant to the fact that they call themselves Jews, because they're saying that all 12 tribes are called Jews, which is one of the reasons why they don't call themselves Israelites. They call themselves Israelis, because they live in Israel. They live in Israel. So the Israelis, they don't refer to themselves as the Israelites. Now, Nick Cannon apologizes to the Jewish community for anti-Semitic, blah, blah, blah. But let's break down and get into what the scriptures say. Let's go to Exodus, right? And then you got to remember, everybody know that movie, The 10 Commandments, with Charlton Heston, and how when the Most High spoke to him out of the bush and everything, the one part that they failed to put in there was when Moses put his hand into his bosom and it came out white, leprous white, as snow. Now, why didn't they put that part in the movie? Because if his hand was turned leprous white, then what color was it before? Okay, let's get into the scripture. In the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. This is Exodus chapter 4, starting at verse 6. And Yahweh Buruku said furthermore to him, put now thine hand into thy bosom. And he put his hand into his bosom, and when he took it out, behold, look, his hand was leprous as snow, or his hand was white as snow. Because if you say, what you mean? It don't say white. But if it's saying leprous as snow, it wasn't talking about snow flurry, the material of it, or the texture of it. It's talking about the color, snow. So his hand was white, and he said, put thy hand into thy bosom again. And he put his hand into his bosom again and plucked it out of his bosom, and behold, it was turned again as his other flesh. Now, what color was his other flesh? Melanated, right? Okay. And it shall come to pass, if they will not believe thee, neither hearken to the voice of the first sign, that they will believe the voice of the latter sign, because the first sign was the serpent. Remember, the rod turned into the serpent. So that's just one proving that that we as Hebrew Israelites are black, that Moses was a black man, was a melanated man, right? He was a brother. If Moses was melanated, he's a Hebrew Israelite, and all the other Israelites were black. And you got something to say, well, you got Edom and Edomite and blah, 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 blah. But Jacob and Esau were both black men. Because the scriptures say he was red and hairy all over, it don't mean that Jacob wasn't red. It means that what distinguished him was the hair that Esau had. But even so, if Jacob was, melanated like he's supposed to be, and it said that Esau was red, you got to understand about the 50 shades of black. You got to understand that reddish brown. But even so, we got red bone. So if it says he was red, he could have been a light-skinned brother. But they were twins. The one wasn't a black man, the other was a white man. That's not true. Because the white man didn't come from Edom. White man came from Canaan. You got to remember, it was Esau that married the Canaanite women. But anyway, let's get back to this color of the Israelites, or of the Jews, as the world so calls them. So if we see here that Moses' hand was black, it was turned white, which means Moses was a black man. We go to Numbers. Remember in Numbers chapter 12 when Aaron and Miriam they came against Moses because of his Ethiopian wife, right? And it says here, Numbers 12:10, and the cloud departed, because Elohim, when he heard them, go against Moses, stepped to him like you're not scared to talk against Moses, knowing that he's my prophet or whatever. So it says, and the cloud departed from off the tabernacle, and behold, Miriam became leprous white as snow. And Aaron looked upon Miriam, and behold, she was leprous, or she was white as snow. So Moses pulled his hand out, it was leprous as snow, or white as snow. Miriam, that plague of leprosy was on her, was white as snow. Now, let's go to Leviticus chapter 13. And what is this leprosy actually? Now, we already distinguished that leprosy is, there's different types of leprosy or conditions of leprosy. But this main condition here was the demelanization of the skin, the burning away of the melanin in the skin, and you're becoming white. Now they call this vitiligo. They call it vitiligo, or Ham's son's disease, because it comes from Canaan. You got to remember, Noah cursed Canaan. He didn't curse Ham. And one of those curses of Canaan was leprosy. Henceforth, the white man. Now, everybody's not human. Man, hue, color, man of color, hue, man, being, color, man, being. If you have no melanin, you're not a human, but you are a mankind, or a kind of man. Okay, so now we see here that leprosy represents whiteness, or white. And I remember leper. You know how leper, the spots on the leper? People got vitiligo, they got those spots, those brown spots, like what Michael Jackson's supposed to have, you know what I mean? That's the leprosy. Now, it says, when a man shall have in the skin of his flesh a rising, a scab, or a bright spot. So if you got white skin, you're not gonna have a bright spot. If you got black skin, you're gonna have a bright spot. And it be in the skin of his flesh, like the plague of leprosy, then he shall be brought to Aaron, the priest, Kohen, and to one of his sons, the priest. And the priest shall look on the plague in the skin of the flesh, and when the hair in the plague is turned white, and the plague in sight be deeper than the skin of his flesh, it is a plague of leprosy. Now we know we got people walking around here. You got those non-melanated people walking around with got white hair, right? Then it says, it is a plague of leprosy, and the priest shall look on him and pronounce him unclean. If the bright spot be white in the skin of his flesh, and in sight be not deeper than the skin, and the hair thereof be not turned white, then the priest shall shut him up that have the plague 7 days, and the priest shall look on him the seventh day, and behold, if the plague in his sight be at a stay, and the plague spread not in the skin, then the priest shall shut him up 7 days more. And the priest shall look on him again the seventh day. Behold, if the plague be somewhat dark. See, dark, black people, dark. The skin is going back to dark. And the plague spread not in the skin, the priest shall pronounce him clean. It is but a scab, and he shall wash his clothes and be clean. But if the scab spread much abroad in the skin, after that he has been seen of the priest for his cleansing, he shall be seen of the priest again. And if the priest see that, behold, the scab spread in the skin, then the priest shall pronounce him unclean. It is a leprosy. And when the plague of leprosy is in a man, then he shall be brought to the priest, and the priest shall see him. And behold, if the rising be white in the skin, and it have turned the hair white, and there be a quick raw flesh in the rising, it is an old leprosy in the skin of his flesh, and the priest shall pronounce him unclean, and shall shut him up, for he is unclean. And if a leprosy break out abroad in the skin, and the leprosy cover all the skin of him that have the plague, that means you're from head to toe, you're white from head to toe, right? Even to his foot, wheresoever the priest looketh. Look at this. Then the priest shall consider, and behold, if the leprosy have covered all his flesh, he shall pronounce him clean that have the plague. It is all turned white. He is clean. So the uncleanness of leprosy is when it's at that spotted stage. You know how you got the black spots with the white spots, like I say, what Michael Jackson say he had, right? That's when you're unclean. But when you have leprosy, it consumes your whole body. So when you turn leprous from head to toe, then you're a clean leper. Or, in their case, the kind of man, or a mankind, a kind of man, they're lepers. They're leprous because they're white. They have no melanin in the skin. So that's just real quick. The true Hebrew Israelites are black men and women, black and brown people of the earth. Not all, because you can be our color and not our kind. But we come out the true descendants, the lost sheep, the lost tribes of Israel. Exodus time. Movement of your people. Wake up, Jacob. Leaving you in the name of the King of Kings, Kedamawi Haile Selassie, as always, Nugus Nagesa Ethiopia, Moa and Bessa Emnegeri Yehuda, Sume Igazi Abihera, Besam Getachi Minahanatachin Yeshua, Hamoshiach. Amen.